So a couple years ago, we had a TV miniseries on HBO called Chernobyl, and I considered that to be the best show of that year. Then the next year, we had The Queen's Gambit, and I was like, okay, I don't think anything's topping this show this year. And here we are in May of 2021. And I got to sit down and watch Invincible. I spread this out a little bit. I didn't just binge the whole thing. I watched it over about a week period of time, and not because I wasn't into it, just because that's what time allowed. And if you couldn't get where I was going with that opening, this will be a very tough show to beat, quality-wise and entertainment-wise. I want to say that I'm not a big animation fan when it comes to adult content. I like animation when it's done for kids. Like, I like Pixar stuff and whatnot. But for some reason, I've always kind of disconnected from adult stuff when it's animation because I just can't connect with characters and I can't connect on a human level like I'm supposed to for an adult. It works for me as a kid because animation when I was growing up was meant for kids at that time, you know, the stuff I was watching, and the characters in it are cartoonish, so I don't have any problem relating to them as cartoonish characters since they are cartoonish. But when they're adults, I'm supposed to be feeling their emotions and their performances, and I just don't because it's flat, you know, drawings, and that just doesn't work for me. So when I saw this came out and people were raving about it, I was like, oh, I don't know. But I saw some comparisons to The Boys, and I was like, whoa, okay. I mean, I love superhero shows. I watch as many of them as I can. I don't watch every single one of them because there's a fucking ton of them nowadays. But man, there's so many fantastic ones. I'm not going to list them all, but The Boys really got me interested. I was like, okay. And I saw it was MA, and I was like, that was kind of off-putting because of the, you know, what I had already said about animation being more for adults. But I threw on episode 1, and I was watching it, and I was like, yeah, you know, this is all right. This is kind of goofy. Like, at first, it was kind of, I thought it was going to be more playful and fun and silly, and I was like, oh, okay, which I didn't know if I was gonna like very much. And honestly, up until about the last 5 minutes of the episode, I was like, it's all right. Then the last like few minutes happened of the first episode, and I sat there with my fucking jaw like on the ground. I was in shock. I was just like, what just happened? What just happened? And my interest went from maybe like a 5 to an 11. And I was just like, what? Oh my God, put on the next episode. What? That was nuts. So anyway, what this show is about is a young boy, we'll say 17, so a young man named Mark Grayson has a father who is basically the Superman of his planet. Well, Earth, but, you know, obviously not our Earth. But this is Omni-Man, and Omni-Man is their Superman. And there is a group of other superheroes that also are there. And there's a lot of superheroes on Earth at this point. But Omni-Man is definitely the strongest of them. And Mark starts to come into his own powers. And he, you know, gets himself a costume, and he names himself Invincible. One thing I love about this show is how they introduced the title card. There was a character in the opening of the very first episode that comes into the second episode, and I thought his story was just going to get little bits and clips throughout this entire series, each episode, and I thought that was such a cool idea, but I think it only happens about 3 times. It's like the first 2 and then a sporadic one towards the end with a character that's connected to that guy, and I was like, it would have been fun to see it. But I did like the way that they introduced the title card every single time. It was fun. you were waiting for it and it would happen. You'd be like, ah, there it is. And so that was neat. That was a cool little gimmick. So I dug the hell out of that. I don't know if that's in the comic. I've never read that comic, but having now watched this first season and been blown away by it, thinking it's fantastic, seriously phenomenal, I would absolutely be down to read the comic to see how close it is. But the characters here are just fantastic. Like, yes, it is kind of silly, but it's very adult. I mean, fucking beyond R-rated. Like, it's so graphically violent. And here's another thing. Like, the absolute carnage and collateral damage of human lives in this show far surpasses any TV, like any superhero thing I've ever watched. Like, people are shredded right and left. Hundreds, thousands of people just obliterated, and not just like from a distance, up close, heads torn off, faces crushed in, brains pulled out, people's fucking heads pulled, like wild stuff. People punching through people, smashing into it, like popping people's heads. It's nuts. It is so graphic, and I loved every bit of that. But man, I got so invested in everybody. And that's high praise coming from me, because I don't like animation for adults, as I've said, much. Not that I've never liked it, but it's very rare. So for me to be like this, you know, an animation show. Now, granted, I do like superheroes a lot. So I am a little biased there, and I am kind of the target demo there. I am not when it comes to the animation. So me being this impressed by it is, you know, really, really high praise. And of course, then it also has high praise from everyone. It has like an 8.9 on IMDb. In fact, I'm honestly surprised it's not even a little higher, which is crazy, because 8.9 is wicked high. But man, yeah, I was so engaged with everything. I loved Mark, you know, Invincible, Omni-Man. I don't want to give any spoilers here at all, because I think what happens in this show needs to be shocking, like it was to me, like legit, like fucking shocked. And I was like, that's where they're gonna go with this show. Wow, okay, I get it. Like, and then the way it plays out, and the mystery of it, and kind of all of the intrigue of like what other characters are doing, and what their game is, and what they're playing at, and who they're using for what, and then there's a lot of romance, relationship drama, and the show's so funny and witty, and characters are so likable, and some are so unlikable but still likable, you know, that you love to hate them kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, you gotta watch this show. You gotta at least finish the first episode, and just so you know, there are after credit sequences, long after credit sequences in some of these, so you gotta make sure you watch till the very, very end to make sure you get everything, because I almost shut the first episode off thinking it was over, and it wasn't, and that's where I got my spike to an 11. So I was just like, oh, holy fuck. Because I didn't think that this show was gonna be graphic. I didn't know what the hell the show was. I thought maybe there'd be some cussing, so that's why I got a MA. Oh my god, no. It's, you know, imagine this show live action. Oh, they couldn't do this. They couldn't do it. They couldn't get away with it. It'd be way, way too graphic. But with animation, it does. So honestly, this has opened me up to checking out other animations for adults. Honestly, I ordered the Death Note complete series on Blu-ray, so I want to check that out, and I want to watch Akira, which I've never seen, and I want to watch some other stuff. So this has opened the door, and the Love, Death and Robots season 2 comes out tomorrow. So I really like season 1 or volume 1 or whatever. But man, what a fantastic show. What a fantastic show. And you got a lot of really cool names too that were acting behind this. Check those out. Yeah. God. I got to check this comic out too. So let me know if you've seen it, what you thought, and if you do watch it, it's on Amazon Prime. It's phenomenal. It's worth your time. Wow. Just wow. And we'll see. I mean, hopefully something does come along and beat it. Why not? I mean, I'd love to have something be better than it this year, but man, this is a tough act to follow. This is a high bar for this year, but we got a lot coming out this year still. So it's possible, and I hope it happens, but I don't know if it's gonna. But let me know if you watch it. Adios.